Do you sometimes feel unseen, confused, overwhelmed, misunderstood by your autoimmune disease, your MS? I did for a long time. There weren't a lot of answers back then. So I am Kathy Chester, your host of Move It or Lose It podcast, where we talk about all things that move the mind, body, soul, and spirit. And on top of that, in combination, we have lots of patients that come on and share their inspiring stories, along with experts in their field that will come on and teach us, make us aware, and help us understand what's going on mentally, physically in our bodies, and how movement is so important, but community is so important. So I invite you to be a part of Move It or Lose It podcast, where you will not be alone. You'll hear lots of stories that'll make you sometimes cry a little, but laugh and be a part of this community. So I welcome you to join and come on in, take a listen and a look at Move It or Lose It podcast. Thank you so much. All right, welcome to another episode to Move It or Lose It. And today our guest is Brittany Quiroz. And if you don't know her name, you know her from A Hot MS, which is one of my favorites on Instagram. I got to meet her, I am going to say, in the very beginning of COVID fun. So with no further ado, I have so many things I want to talk about with you. Welcome, Brittany, to Move It or Lose It podcast.
Thank you so much for having me, sweetie. I was so excited to get on this with you.
I love you so much. I respect you so much. I have had so much fun giving you calls when I'm sad and having you sing to me, and through the last couple of years. And I just am so proud of you for going all in and not holding back with your stories and your singing and your sharing about your journey, and really working at making all of our stuff beautiful, and really making our disease and being disabled a beautiful thing, and nothing to be embarrassed about. Absolutely. And you do an amazing job at that. And I love you for that.
Oh, I love you too. Thank you.
You do
it's been so awesome to connect with people like you, because it brings like a closeness of community, and that feeling that we're not alone and we're in this together. We're all dealing with each other's crap, and that's a beautiful thing.
It is, because as we well know, it's a very isolating disease. And even the people that, we know this, that love us the most, that want to be with us. And we both have husbands like that we can share about that. I know my husband would take a bullet for me. I know my husband would take this pain for me in a heartbeat. And that's the most frustrating, when they can't do that. Right. And yet, we've got to go into the MRI machines. We've got to go through the infusions that are scary and all the other stuff. And that's a very isolating feeling when we have those bad days and we have those times where we're just sad and there's no explanation for what our emotions are doing that day and the crazy stuff. Right. And so even with having the support that we have with our husbands and our kids and stuff like that. So I want you to talk a little bit about some of the things that I just have blessed so much of you. When you started advocating like pretty darn quick. So you found out 2019, you have MS.
Yeah.
And then when did you literally just start advocating, day one?
I literally did. And it sounds psycho, but there's an explanation behind it. It's like, hey, you have a disability. Let's put everything out in the universe for everybody to know. Okay. So a little bit about my background. I grew up as a performer. I've been singing, songwriting since I was, singing professionally since I was 4 or 5 with Disney, Nickelodeon, all that kind of stuff. And then got into songwriting. So I've always been a performer my entire life. So I credit, I guess, a lot of my resilience or willingness to find an alternative way of coping with this to my performance career. Yeah. You're handed scripts, You are put on standby, for other roles in case something happens, in case they have an injury, and then you're learning,
Right.
you're learning blocking, and you're learning choreography, and you're learning scripts, and you're impressing all the directors so they cast you again and again and again and again. So it's like you're being thrown different roles all the time, and you have to sell it, and you have to make it work. And you fake it till you make it. So when I was diagnosed, it almost felt like, okay, this is a role
that you were cast in.
I was cast in. I have to play it. I have to figure it out. And me personally, I have a very easy ability, I should say, to go to a very dark place. I've dealt with clinical depression. I've been on antidepressants before and anti-anxiety medications. So I knew what that was like. I was like, if I allow myself to get wrapped into my life is over, oh my gosh, how could this happen to me? All that ridiculousness. It's like, I could go there and get stuck, and it's going to suck.
And that's so important, Brittany, to say, because so many times when I'm talking to my MS patients, my MS clients, I can feel them going there, and I'm like trying to pull them out, and I can see it happening. And we know that once we're there, to get out is just nearly impossible, because once we climb to that dark spot.
Oh yeah. We want to cuddle up in our blanket of black.
Yeah.
So not a good place. So,
no.
And I got a lot of positive feedback when I first started my advocacy pilgrimage, if you will. I got a lot of positive feedback, a lot of support. And then I got a lot of flack of saying, well, your medical stuff's nobody's business, and you're just trying to get attention. It's like, look, okay, hold on. I'm from Boston. I'm East Coast. I'm Italian. I'm a Scorpio. I'm heavily tattooed, and I'm a performer. There's 1,000,000,001 ways that I can figure out how to get attention. Trust me.
Yeah.
Medical is not that's not like, what do you want to be when you grow up? An advocate for a really crappy disability. Come on.
I want to be an MS influencer.
Right. Exactly. I was born in '88. We didn't have an influencer.
No.
Back then. So
no, now I tease my daughter, because she, she's that age. So she wants to be an influencer for everything. I'm like, Kaylin, I am too. I'm an MS influencer and a rheumatoid. She's like, okay. But no, we don't grow up I didn't grow up in an age of that. So that wasn't diagnosed. That wasn't a thing. No. We didn't advocate. We hid it to the best of our ability for fear that we would lose our jobs, lose our kids. I mean, that was a true fear that we had, that they would take our kids away, because no one really understood what we had. And so it was a very terrifying thing, but I respected so much that you went in to advocate right away, and you didn't let the naysayers stop you, because back then we probably would have stopped immediately for fear that it wasn't doing any good. It was actually going to do more harm for others. Absolutely. And which is crazy, but that was a very real fear that we had then. So when you started to advocate and you got a lot of positive feedback, because you were extremely open about the emotional parts of it and what you were dealing with. And what I love so much too is that I love your family involvement, and you've got such a great close relationship with your family, and they were singing with you and putting out songs, and your songs were from hilarious to sad to you singing about, whatever you were feeling, whatever was going on with your diagnosis. And that was so awesome that you were doing things like that. Tell us more about that. How did that get started, that you were singing songs about that?
My mother and I have, so my mother's a pianist, classically trained in Boston, and then turned jazz. And then she started, writing and composing her own pieces. So her and I have always performed together since I was literally 4. Okay. I'll have to send you, I found one of me singing down Nantasket Beach in Massachusetts, singing Hello Dolly. And I'm like this small, and I walk up and I tell the band director, I'm like, okay, it's key of E and this is my tempo. So I was taught no fear from my mom.
That's
never put
awesome.
me on stage saying, okay, now honey, you're going to be okay. And you don't have to worry. She never gave me the inclination that I had something to fear or had something to be nervous about. She just said, okay, here's your key. Here's your tempo. Here's where you're going to stand.
Right.
There's your mic. There's your light. Here's where you go. So I didn't know any better. So really, I credit this to my mother that she taught me this uncontrollable resilience to not have fear. And fear is taught. Fear is 100% taught. So her and I had, been performing together and writing music since I was probably about 12 or 13.
Wow.
So we've had this unspoken, crazy, creepy, close bond. As far as music goes. Music is a very unspoken language.
Oh yeah.
So it's really cool to have a connection with another person that's not only your mom, but your musical partner. So her and I started, we've been writing for a while. And then after my diagnosis, I'm like, you know what? We need to do an album that is motivational music.
Now you're way ahead of me. You're way ahead of me. Wait, slow down. No, let's go ahead and go there, because this is something that has been on your heart, even though you went ahead of me. So it's something that you are planning, looking forward to. You are doing an album with your mom. So a motivational album.
We're in the process of recording right now. So it's motivational and Christian-based music.
Love it.
We started in September. I think we started in October of 2019. So the month after I got diagnosed. And all that whole entire period was just crazy. It was like, hey, my husband and I just got married in June 1st, 2019. Stuff started happening.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Everything was like, hey.
I didn't realize that.
It was like, hey, you're happy. Oh, wait, what is this? Hey, you're happy.
Did you know, Brittany, I was married. We got married in May of 2019.
Oh, okay.
And then, so it's our second marriage. And so we've got 5 adult kids.
Right.
And so it was like, I just always came across so strong. And then I had, I just kind of took a crap when 2020 happened and everything went wrong. My MS went crazy and I came JC positive. And, so it just I was on Tysabri for years and did phenomenal on it. And, I just went to crap. So it was like, well, happy anniversary. We've been married for a year. And now I took a total crap. And now my MS is, so it's like one of those things. Did you know, are you still wanting to do this for the rest of your life? Isn't it great?
Seriously, love, that's how I felt. And I kept telling my husband, and I kept telling Johnny, I'm like, I feel like you got ripped off.
Yes.
Because, there was a little bit of concern from other members, like other friends and other members of the family, like, well, did she know about this? And there's always that secret worry of a hidden agenda or alternative motive. And it's like, yes, let's hide a chronic illness. And it was just ridiculous. But anyways, that's what I was afraid of. I'm like, oh my gosh, is he going to think that I knew? Does he feel like he got ripped off? Because it's like there's a 20-year age gap between us. So he's 20 years. So, I came in to the family, gung-ho, energized, healthy, what I thought was healthy.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, well, I'm in a position that, God bless him, I'm going to be able to take care of him one day.
Right.
Care for my husband. And all of that kind of went reversed in my head of saying, he just got ripped off. You know what I mean? And of course, Johnny is my biggest supporter and he's my rock, and he's the most disciplined person and most motivated person that I know.
Thank God.
So he was like, ripped off? Are you kidding? Like, what, I'm ride or die, baby. Like we're going to do it. And he's just been so amazing and, and educating himself and supportive and have the, we call them MS fire drills where I'm, going through a flare up and that I'm not cooking. We're getting takeout. He handles the kids, so he's been so incredible. And I'm so
Yeah.
blessed and grateful, you know, that God put him in my path every day.
Oh gosh. Yeah.
But going back to music for me has always been therapy. It's
Yeah.
therapeutic. I've never been one for one-on-one therapy. I feel like you have to kind of like find what works for you. But again, everybody's different. So some people it's going to work for, some people it doesn't. Me, it does not. I'm like, just, you know, give me, you know, an hour of listening to whatever music I want.
Oh yeah.
A microphone, and I'll be fine when we're done.
My husband and I are both that's what kind of we're both very music. So we'll play games if we're traveling. So we'll do like silly things from like A to Z. You pick the A, I'll pick the other A. And we always kind of do it to surprise each other. Like, what's a song that he would never guess I'll pick? And it's just these silly, but we love music so much. And we have wild taste. Like I like stuff from the 40s and, you know, to now, and he does too. So we both really love all kinds of music.
Yeah. I always say I'm musically bipolar because
I'll
listen to Nirvana, and then I'll have like a playlist, and then I'll shuffle it. And 2 songs later is like one of the songs from the Prince of Egypt soundtrack.
I thought you were going to say mine's like Nirvana. And then like 2 songs later, it's Toby Mac. And it's like a song about like love. I'm like, it is what it is. I'll have a praise and worship, and then it's like something like really funky after. I'm like,
exactly. It can go from praise to worship to like Disney and like Thumbelina back to like Metallica or AC/DC. It's like, I'm totally.
Now it really is odd as I own my own studio. So I'm like, wait a minute, not the right playlist. Hold on. Let me get one that makes sense for the gym. So that is a little weird. So
I figured, you know, with advocacy and with putting my story out there, I knew that I didn't, I guess, connect it all at first. I started with, you know, posting my Instagram, and then I started the Facebook website, and started the blog, and started.
I want to talk to you about the blogging, because that was when you started blogging. When was that? When did you decide blogging?
Gosh, I think it was like a week after.
The week after you were diagnosed.
Yeah. I started just journaling and putting it out there. And one of the first ones was, you're not cool unless you pee your pants. I remember that.
I love that.
And, you know, it's funny because my neurologist thinks that I've had MS for over 2 years prior to my diagnosis.
Yeah. That's what my neurologist had said.
You know, that was weird. And this has been happening for a while.
Right.
So I have been, and again, sorry, TMI, but it's just like you do nobody justice by holding anything in.
Right.
I've been, you know, wetting myself for years. And I was like, hey, well, wait a minute. My kids are my stepkids. You know, my husband and I have raised them since they were like 4 and 5. So I haven't given birth. You know, if I laughed, if I sneezed, if I laughed and sneezed at the same time,
then it was,
oh my gosh, you better have panties like hidden in your purse or something, or access to a really fast CVS.
Yes.
So, you know, that had been happening for years. And I'm like, you know what? I wasn't going to write it. And then I'm like, you know what? I cannot be the only person with MS that pees themselves at 30.
No.
Come on.
My funny thing I always say is, I'm going to try to go for a walk or a run. My goal is to not pee. Yeah. Just to not pee. And that started, you know, pretty quickly for me. I don't know if your first signs, but it was peeing for me, and cognitive. I was just like, I don't remember how to add anything. Now I was helping my kids with homework, and it was like not there. So, you know, you don't know what's going to happen, you know, but I love the honesty and just saying like, this is what it is. And
we have to get to a place where we learn to laugh at ourselves, because we're all, it's like that famous thing that people say, everybody poops.
Exactly.
Everybody farts, everybody poops. It's like, come on, let's grow up a little bit here and realize we're all human. We all do these things. It's not cliche. It's not like this hidden, oh, we can't talk about it. You know.
Well, yes. And the thing is too, Brittany, you're very beautiful, and you put a beautiful spin on it, because you do the craziest stuff. You're in the wild clothes, and you're so funny, and you're so beautiful, and you make it so that, you know what, you put yourself out there. And so it's like, look, I can do this. So can you.
Yeah.
And that makes it, I loved watching the stuff that you do with your, with anything that you're, lost the word, fog, the stuff that you put on your, the stuff you put on your leg, your,
Oh, my
gone.
AFO.
Yes, AFO.
Oh,
Gone.
trust me, girl, trying to find a noun is like trying to
Gone.
find
It's
a
like,
unicorn.
so,
Somebody sell me a noun, damn it.
it's like, yes, it sounds like, looks like, I always tell my husband, it's like charades daily.
I know, huh? Get the thing with the stuff.
You know, and then when he doesn't get it, I'm like, I love that. I love that you do that. I loved it from the moment that I started following you, was that there was no embarrassment. It was the beauty of showing what you're using and why you're using it. And I love that. And I think it gave so many, the confidence to show this is what I'm doing. This is what I need to use.
Right.
And for me, I had to use it for a little bit, and now I'm out of that. But I feel like, the unseen stuff is, like I've not been able to see for years. But now that things are not quite as beautiful as they used to be, and so I'm tripping, and now people are like, whoa, she's bad. It's like, no, it's just, you couldn't see before the things that I had to sit down and think, why is this not making sense? And why can't I put, like, writing for me? I love blogging, but I need someone to do it for me. I can say the memos, but I can't figure out where the words go.
Yeah.
That's just gone for me.
Yeah.
So, I love when I can see that cognitively you're blogging and it still makes sense. I'm like, yes.
Sometimes I really have to be in the right mindset to do it.
Okay.
I have major oversensory issues where if I'm trying to blog and there's a lawnmower going on outside and the dog is barking, and my phone's ringing and the radio's on in the other room, I just shut down.
Okay.
So I have to like really mentally put myself, even going to a concert or something. Okay. I have to tell myself it's going to be loud. There's going to be a lot of people there and it's going to be crowded. Yeah. I have to mentally prepare myself, or else I'll get there and I completely freak out and just shut down.
Now, is that worse? Have you done anything like this? Because I know with the cancer and all that, and I want to get to that. Have you felt more of a nervousness going out?
Now, since the pandemic, yes.
Yeah.
For sure. I think I'm getting a little bit more lighthearted about it. I will say that with wearing a mask and social distancing and hand sanitizing until my hands are like super crispy, they're like perma crisp now.
Right.
Perma crisp.
Yeah. It's like trying nail polish. That doesn't work. I'm like, it's gone in a day.
No, it's insane. They're so dry. It's like, no, I just like a vat of like coconut oil with me at all times.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
But, I had been the kind of person that every 4 to 6 months would end up with a cold or a stomach bug, especially with having 2 kids, and how it circulates in schools. It's like a darn petri dish. So
yes. Oh yeah.
I have not gotten anything in those 2 years. Not a cold, not a sniffle, nothing.
Wow.
So in my head, I'm like, you know what? It's working for me and I'm doing something right. So I'm going to keep doing it. So I swear by, if you're autoimmune, to have a mask on. And it's I won't get into the political aspect of it because that's totally what it's turned into.
I know.
But for people with autoimmune diseases, it's like, it leaves us so vulnerable.
Oh, and everywhere I go now, they'll say, you don't need to wear it. And I'll say, no, I do.
Right.
Even if my lips are cracked, and I do. Yeah. I do need to, but thank you.
Oh yeah, for sure. Oh, I know. I have psoriasis, also really, really bad on my scalp and on my face. And the mask is just like, my psoriasis is like,
I know.
But no, it's, from a social aspect of it, I'd say it was, not easy by any means, of having to, put things on hold and having to say, we can't go to the restaurant because they don't have enough patio and yada yada.
Right.
Too many people, and a theme park's probably not the best idea right now because kids like lick the handrails.
Right. Yeah. Right. Like they would. And it's like,
Yeah. So I don't know. For me, it's been like about prioritizing, but the
Mhm.
past year, I did an interview with Damian Washington, who's
Yeah,
on.
I'm gonna be interviewing him in a couple weeks.
Oh, cool. He's so awesome.
Yeah,
He's
I
so
love
full of
him.
life and energy. It's like, oh my gosh, he's so entertaining to talk to.
I can't wait. I'm just know I'm gonna laugh the whole time.
Yeah, for sure. I was talking to him and he's like, you know what? For being in a pandemic, for being diagnosed with MS, for moving,
Yeah.
we did a big move. We bought a big house compared to where we were in Orange County because we moved out to Corona area in Riverside County, California.
You guys did, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then, the mammogram and the biopsy.
Yes.
And the first surgery was the bilateral mastectomy. Then I did a reconstruction. He's like,
Yes.
hold up. He calls me BQ. He's like, yo, hold up, BQ. He's like, you've been through a lot. And I guess when you're in it, you don't realize it because I have always been the kind of person, I'm a go-getter. I gotta get it done. I don't do well when I'm stagnant.
Right.
So
Me neither.
the pandemic was not, or it still is not a good thing for
Right.
I like to be on the go. I like to get things done. I'm self-motivated. So when I have setbacks where I can't do that, I go stir crazy and then I fall into dark
places.
Black blanky land.
Yeah.
For sure.
So how did you stay out of that this time?
And since we're being honest, I got out of it recently. So there was, honey, how long was I in my dark place? Like 6 to 8 months.
He's like, wait, do I answer this or not? Do I go, is this safe? Like, hold on.
It was like 6 months, right? Because of the antidepressants. Yeah.
Okay. So what antidepressants did they put you on?
So I had the mastectomy in August 10th of 2020.
Okay.
After I was completely relieved, we're kind of like, we're going forward and then we're going backwards, I guess.
It's okay. We can spider web. We're women. We can it all goes back to it all webs together at the end.
So after the surgery, hormonally, my body was just in kind of a whack. It was in an odd place of feeling normal again, adjusting to a new body. It was like the physical adjustments of it, the emotional adjustments of it. And I did not feel right at all. I'm very sensitive to medication. I did not like being on the pain medication at all. I don't drink. I've never been, I don't like how things make me feel.
Right.
So I, gave up alcohol years ago just for health reasons and everything. And it's like, it was never a thing for me anyways. I've never been into drugs or pharmaceutical, really anything. So being on pain medication, I didn't like how it made me feel.
Right.
It kind of, but I needed it. There was, I think the 10th or 11th day after my surgery, I said, I don't want to take this anymore. It's making me feel drugged. I don't want to feel loopy. I don't like feeling out of control of my body.
Right.
And I didn't take it. And I just tried to take Tylenol. I can't even. I
can't imagine the pain.
It was horrific.
So you had to take you had to go back to it.
So when I started really, my body started getting its stuff together and everything, and the pain medication, I had to taper off everything.
Right.
Everything was good. Mentally, I just didn't feel myself. So I talked to my primary. He put me on 10 milligrams of Lexapro, and then was it 50 or 650? It's either 50 or 70. I can't remember. Milligrams of trazodone.
Okay.
Again, body sensitive. And when you're talking to your doctor and you're saying, okay, well, I'm feeling like this and I'm feeling like this, and I just don't feel motivated and I don't feel like myself, and I have no inspiration and I have no, energy, and, everything was kind of like mentally, hindering me.
And you're just kind of going through a spiral of just,
that's what I felt like I was just like spiraling.
And how would you not?
Exactly.
Truly.
Right. And now I understand that.
Yeah.
In it, I'm like, well, I should be able to handle this. And I've had so many people say, wait a minute, do you realize that you had 2 significant body parts removed?
Right.
Oh.
Right. Yeah.
Exactly.
So
I guess I just kind of like thought lightly of it. Like, oh, I got this is fine.
Right.
No, it's another role. Da, da, da.
Right.
But it wasn't, like, it got real.
Did you feel like it was another role that you just were failing at?
Yes.
Yeah.
For sure. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because I have very high expectations for myself.
Sure.
I'm extremely self-critical, which we know in MS, it's a me disease. And like it's very isolating. So being self-critical when you already have those obstacles in front of you is like,
right.
Operation for disaster.
Yeah.
So
but we are, so many of us have that personality. And I knew right when I met you, I'm like, oh yeah, I get you because I am you. And I know that personality, that I have such high expectations, and when I fail, it's just like unacceptable.
Yeah, no, it is. It's unacceptable. This is not okay.
Right.
What's wrong with the house?
Yeah. And it's so bad for us. And yet I would tell you like, oh my gosh, like ease up. But when it's us, it's like, no, let's go.
Yeah,
so
absolutely. It's
a tough one.
So that's kind of what my mindset was. But, you know, the antidepressants, they help for a little while. And then I think about the 6-month mark, I really started to feel worse.
Okay.
I felt drugged in the morning. I couldn't wake up. It was impossible for me to get out of bed. Like I would get out of bed, and this would be, you know, after being in the bed for 12, 13 hours.
Okay. Wow.
Get up, get a cup of coffee, and then lay on the couch again. I wasn't doing music. I wasn't singing. I wasn't working. I wasn't teaching. I teach voice also. So I kind of like put my students on hold, and so many of them are already involved in the chronic illness community anyways. Just out of pure coincidence, which was kind of like God's way of saying, hey, I'm going to put more people in your life to like understand what you're going through. So I put everything on hold, and I finally told Johnny, I'm like, something's wrong. Like, I just don't feel like myself at all. Now, all of my primary care, all my doctors are still back in Orange County. So it's about an hour travel. So I was like, you know what, I can go, I can call. I ended up going to see him, saying, you know, the Lexapro, maybe we need to like change something. I'm just not feeling right. So he switched from the Lexapro to Wellbutrin.
Okay.
It was like completely worse.
Okay. I was going to say, I was on that years ago, did not do well at all. No, did not work for my body chemistry at all. So I ended up tapering off of everything myself. Okay. I got on Google and I'm like, how to taper off. How to taper. Dear Google.
Seriously, dear Google. And I got myself off within, I think, maybe like 15 or 16 days. Okay. I feel motivated again. I feel energized again. Good. I wake up in the morning refreshed. I don't feel, you know, like I'm completely drugged. Right. No, that just drugged. Yes. Your body is heavy. Your eyes are heavy. Yes. Awful. I can't control my own self feeling. Yes. Don't like that. Doesn't.
And a lot of it too is, I think, you know, we go through like phases of depression. And I think sometimes we need to realize it's situational. Yes. You know, it's like we go through these situations that get us very depressed, and we take it on that, oh, great. Now I'm this depressed person that I have nothing to offer. No, we just happened to go through a situation that was very freaking depressing. Yes. And so we're depressed. Yeah. As anyone else would be. Yeah. And so we may need help with the medication, but I think the idea of understanding it may not be forever, it may be for a time. Yeah. And then we may be off that.
Exactly. And I think it was good right after my surgery. It was a lot to adjust to. Yes. Again, I think I had a false sense of expectation as far as recovery goes. Sure. I like the sleeping thing after the surgery. Oh my gosh. I'm not a mummy. I had to sleep literally like a mummy in a coffin, on my back, like a turtle. It was terrible. Wow. I slept in a recliner for about like almost 2 months after the surgery, because it was the only way I could get comfortable. It was awful. So not fun. This is probably making anybody like considering a mastectomy go, maybe I should rethink.
Never mind. No.
No. And it's not. It just, for me, it was a lot of big hits at once.
Right. Well, yeah, because there were so many things, and you're dealing with recovering, not just from that, but what is the MS going to do in the meantime? So while you're recovering, not only are you in a lot of pain, but you're sharing your recovery with the world, with all of us as you're recovering, which I thought was absolutely amazing, and showing pictures right after, which I thought was, so how did people receive that?
I got mixed reviews. I definitely
Okay.
got a mix of reviews of why would you post that? And that's inappropriate, to, thank you for inspiring us and educating us. And, when I first knew that when I made the decision to do the preventative mastectomy, because it's like, look, I have MS. I don't need another problem. Cancer runs wild on both sides of my family, especially breast cancer. So knowing that I already, did the genetic testing and came back with the CHEK2 mutation, which always goes for breast cancer and colon cancer.
Yeah, I was going to say, explain what that means.
Yeah, so breast cancer and colon cancer also, they're everywhere on both sides of my family. Like, those are the only two cancers that my genetics have to worry about. Well, those are the two cancers that are at risk for the mutation. CHEK2 is a very rare, I guess it's super, super rare mutation. 1% of the population has CHEK2. As far as like a breast cancer genetic, or I'm sorry, a cancer mutation. BRCA is like the most, commonly known one. So CHEK2, I'm like, well, I don't know anything about this. And they're like, yeah, this is very rare, but you have like a very high risk for it. So I already knew, look, I have MS. I don't need another problem. Get it done. Everybody's like, you're only 31. I was 31 at the time. Think about it. That's a lot to do on your body. I'm like, it was a no brainer. Like, I don't need another problem. And Johnny's a butt guy. So
thank God. I know.
So it was like,
I thought about that too, as I'm watching you. I'm like, wow, if that happened, I was like, thank God my husband's a butt guy. I mean, there's already not a lot there. So I'm like, thank you, Jesus, that my husband's a butt guy. So,
and it was hard. It was hard emotionally because, again, it was, okay, we got married in June. Hey, I have hey, I'm going to remove my breasts that you like. And like, just to be honest. And it felt
absolutely
like adjusting, making him adjust to so much so fast.
And it is a lot of what we feel our femininity. And it's taking that away. And then I loved your post about, I love that you posted, they're beautiful. And I love that you post so freely. And I love, we had a talk about after, and you showed me, and, are you going to get, I love that you're so honest. Like, are you going to get nipples on, or are you not going to get it? And I think that's such a beautiful discussion, because tell me a little bit about how, the group, like, how close are you now to breast cancer survivors? How is that group formed?
It's been really, really cool. So when I made the decision to get the preventative double mastectomy, I had gone on Instagram and, I tagged a few things and I found a few profiles. Paige Proviver is one that she's like, oh my gosh, this chick is awesome. She also did undergo a preventative mastectomy.
I'll have that in the bottom of the show notes.
Oh my gosh, Paige Proviver, she's so awesome. And then the Breasties also, they're like a community page. And they are all advocating for putting it all out there, sharing the stories, sharing the pictures, sharing the questions, because it's like, I had to go online and look up, post mastectomy drains. What are they? How do they feel? How do you drain them? It's like, they're only going to tell you so much in your surgeon's doctor's office.
Exactly.
So it's not like you have a diagram of, okay, well, this is what it's going to look like.
And
they're going to be hanging off of you like, So I, really dug into the community of.
And you needed them to be honest with you about, I would assume, about what is this going to feel like? What is this going to look like?
Absolutely.
And how am I going to feel?
Because I'll tell you what, I've never had any surgery in my life. I've never broken a bone. I broke my nose, but that was like forever ago, and you can't really do anything for it. It heals, so it's like whatever, but I've never had a cast or anything. So this was like a big, big deal. I'm like, okay, what if I don't wake up? And what if this happens? And what if I wake up during the surgery? And it's like,
right.
So, I really,
Not to mention it was during COVID.
my husband,
ah,
he had to leave me at the end of the hall and they walked me. It was terrifying.
yeah.
It was awful. It's like,
I was scared for you. I was like, Lord Jesus, please be with her.
Yeah, just, being alone and
not to mention, thank God for your faith. I mean, thank God that how do we do this? How do people do this without faith?
That's it. God.
Whew.
I know that's a whole different story.
Right. Whole nother topic.
So crazy. But I really looked to, the community of providers and women going through mastectomies, and that we're putting it all out there and being completely transparent. What the stage was, that I had a little bit more self-reassurance that I got this. This is nothing.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna rock this, and I'm gonna put it out there for me. And again, advocacy, it's self-therapeutic, but the end of the end goal is to inspire and motivate and encourage other people.
Absolutely. And you do a beautiful job of that.
Thank you. And you can't do that without being real. You can't.
Right. And that's the thing, the real ugly, all of it, all of the ick and the
fake stuff. We see the fake stuff on E and on MTV with the Kardashians. Yeah. It's like, we see the fake. We see the fake. It's not doing anything. It's not benefiting anybody.
We see it. We see enough of that. We need like authentic, when we're in pain, what is it? I have to do that a lot because what is my job? I'm a trainer. I own a studio. So I have to show the other stuff, the other parts of me, because, it looks like I have one part of me. And, but back to you, man, I want to know now. So I'm so curious about this because I'm asked often if I'm, wanting to write, please write a book. And my answer, as you can imagine, my fear of that is my cognitive stuff, my inability to even write a paragraph, let alone a book. So for me, it would be a ghostwriter. That's how I would have to do it. So for you, I could easily see you writing a book.
I started in maybe December 2019.
Okay.
And I'm doing it. For me, it's the logistics of it. It's okay, who do I find it as an editor, and how do I get it published, and where do where does it sell, and how does it get printed? So it's all the actual business logistics of it that I'm clueless and not business savvy in any way, shape, or form. So if there's anybody listening to this, knows
both of us, help us.
Yeah, please help us.
Yeah, that is the thing, because that everybody says that. Well, we want you to write a book. Well, how? How do we get the editor? Right. Where do you start? And where are the ghostwriters and the editors and the publishers and the
exactly right? Who's going to pick it up, or who's going to get marketed properly and everything?
Yes, exactly.
So I originally started writing it as more of an autobiographical.
Yes, exactly. That's how I did.
But what I want to do now is kind of take that aspect of it, but make it into an encouragement, motivation.
Yes.
Kind of not necessarily a self-help, but a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you have so much to offer in that, I think, in how you inspire, and the knowledge that you have going through each of these things, I think is just such a gift. And the other thing I wanted to say to you too, is I think with so many of our young people being diagnosed, you have, I'm not all tatted up, and I'm older than you just by a year or two or a lot, but I just have my one little tattoo. I'm going to get a second one. I just don't know what I want it to be, but my point is that you have a look that our younger people that are diagnosed can relate to. They think you're just a badass. They love you. And you have that voice.
And they're like, she's a weirdo.
No, they love you. And I think it's your authentic, you're everything that they can look at and say, I can talk to you, I can hear you, I can listen to you, and I can be vulnerable. And that's so important because we have so many, as you know, young people getting diagnosed. I mean, my son was diagnosed at 19. And when you're 19 and you're diagnosed with this, what are you thinking about? I can't drink, I can't party. And
Life's
you know,
over,
that,
I can't do anything, and woe is me. And yeah, no, but those
right,
are all natural things. It's like,
right,
people say, well, you have to stay positive and positive and positive. And it's like, okay, yes, I am, an influencer in the MS community and chronic illness, advocate and all that. But it's not all sunshine and positivity and stay
right,
smiling. It's not
right.
reality. That's not authentic. You're going to go
No,
through dark times. You're going to go through, a 6-month battle with depression where you feel drained
right,
and you can't wake up and you're not doing anything. And you're, the dog looks homeless because you haven't
right.
washed it in a month,
Your kids look homeless. They've been in the same clothes
I know,
for,
dental hygiene, whatever.
right. Yeah.
But it's like, you got to put a cap on it. And
Yeah.
to be, I guess, in a place where you can self-motivate in like an emergency situation.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like
Yeah.
that. It's the moment of saying, okay, well, if I do this, it's going to veer off into
The black hole.
That's like my official term now is black
Yeah.
blanket. I can just see it like a black blanket, just like
Yeah.
covering around you, and all you see is your eyes of fear.
Right. That could be your Halloween costume.
Yeah.
Not going here.
Um,
Not going to Gunter here.
for the younger generations, going through this and going through, I'll get messages on Instagram or Facebook,
Mhm.
Hey, I was just diagnosed, and putting it all out there, and then I'll
Yeah.
respond, and I hate getting the message, wow, you really, like, you actually responded. And it makes me so disappointed to know
Yeah.
that enough people have reached
Are
out,
not.
yeah, to other people or other influencers or other
Yeah.
communities, and there's crickets.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, I get that.
So
Like, thank you for responding. Like, what?
yeah,
Like, who's not? Or would you ever have time to like help me? Like, would you ever have time to work out with me? Who's saying no to you?
right, exactly.
Well, I don't know. They were charging me. Like, that's the whole mantra for me. Like, I'm just like, what? Like, who's taking advantage of you and why?
So for me, like, being real and being authentic and putting it out there, and responding to these kids, because they're still kids,
Yeah, absolutely.
that are dealing with this, and not all of them have a good support system.
Right.
Some have parents that are also dealing with disabilities. So
Mhm.
one of my really good friends, she has a mother with health problems too, and she's battling MS.
Right.
Trying to take care of her mom on Wednesdays, and other days during the week, and she's got 2 kids and a husband and soccer and sports,
Right.
music, choir, rehearsals and all this stuff for her kids. So it's a lot. It's a lot.
Right.
But once you find that, communicating and putting it out there, it's like, it's not a vanity thing.
Right. Right.
Is this something that we want to be vain about and get attention for? No.
Yeah. Not this wouldn't be it. This
No,
isn't
I
it.
would be getting attention for my body art.
Right. Exactly. I'm always looking like, what's on that? What do you have? Do you have any MS ones?
No, would you believe that I don't yet?
I'm debating what I keep asking, like anyone who I'm like, show it to me. I'm not sure. Cause my son got me a tattoo. Like we're going to get one together. So I'm like, I just can't figure out what I want, but, I know I want an MS one with like a scripture in there.
Yeah. Like I wanted to get like, something, or like an orange flower or something.
Yeah.
It's funny. So after my mastectomy, my breast
Yeah.
took lymph nodes on both sides.
Okay.
This kind of freaked me out until I've done a little bit more research and said, okay, well, there's different kinds of inks, and different kinds of inks have
Right.
different effects on your immune system and whatnot. She said that my lymph nodes were soaked in ink.
Oh.
Which was a little concerning. Now there hasn't been enough scientific, research and proof to say that, the ink administered in tattoo art is going to be harmful to the immune system or harmful to the body in general, except for the colors. So
Interesting.
I've done a lot of research that colored ink actually could possibly contain metals and other elements in it that could be harmful. Black ink does not.
Okay.
So with answering your question, I'm like, yes, I can, but it's not going to have color in it. So I'm
Right.
I have recently gotten, tattooed again.
Yeah. Right.
Slowly.
But all black.
It's funny though, because I'm going to kind of like go backwards for a
Right.
second here. Okay. You do things in your life therapeutically, at least
Yes.
that's how I do it.
Right.
Never been into, I'm thankful to God that I was never into a party scene or drugs or alcohol.
Yeah.
But I've had a lot of challenges in my life and struggles, in my personal life and everything, with, growing up as many do. And I definitely looked at tattoos as a coping mechanism.
Yeah. My daughter as well. I'll show you pictures later.
Yeah, it was, if I could focus on the physical pain, then I don't have to really, deal with the emotional pain of what I was dealing with. So I accumulated about 90% of my body art within a 1.5 year period.
Wow.
Yeah, it was very, very quick.
Okay.
So, it's funny. So a lot of people, they're like, well, wait a minute, like that was like a big, big change, but everything happens for a reason. I know I am who I am for a reason. And I do like the controversial kind of question mark that people have of looking at me and assuming, oh, she must be, a partier or a drinker, or, she must be like clubbing every night. It's like, look, I went to one club when I was like 21 and it terrified me. And I've never been back to one since.
I love that.
It's interesting to have that controversial kind of like question mark of how she looks so different than how she acts.
Right.
Like I'm a Christian songwriter. Like that's it's very controversial. I'm aware of it. But it sort of, I guess, molded me into having a little bit of armor. Like if I looked tough, I wasn't going to get hurt. If I looked tough, I could handle it.
Yeah. I like that.
I have to conquer those things.
Yeah. I think that is a very true statement that a lot of women do. Now, I think
and it's okay to be vulnerable and admit that. So many people be like, I could never admit that, I was going through a dark time and I, I was overcompensating for the pain of a tattoo.
Right.
Like, the reality of it. It's like, just be honest.
Yes. I want you to know right now, Brittany, I'm still stuck on, I can't have orange ink. I'm still stuck on that. I'm still like, wait, so like I need like maybe just a little line. Like,
no, I mean, again, it's like, I just, after talking to my breast surgeon, that's what she had recommended. Also, saying, okay, well, there's research showing that in color, they could contain metals, but again, it all depends on where you're going.
Yeah.
The validity of a solid shop and a solid art, using good products. So again, it's just, it depends on the person, but I always say, talk to your doctor.
Yeah, no. That was a great, I not heard that. But yeah, no, that's a good thing to hear.
Yeah.
But no, I love it. And I love that you love the controversy, because I think it just adds more to you. And I love that. I mean, it's the opposite of me. I was married to a pastor for 18 years. So they think I'm just this like goody. I'm like, okay. So, that's the only part of me. So I think it's important to know that there's so many parts to us. And I think that comes out when we are able to advocate and we are able to be there for so many different personalities and different people who are hurting and in pain. And our past and what molds us and makes us gives us the ability to do those kinds of things and gives us the ability to advocate for so many.
And it comes down to the fact we all have a common thread. We're all going through this. We've all had dark pasts. We've all had, monsters in our closets. We've all gone through emotional roller coaster and downward black blanket spiral.
Exactly.
We've all done it. So let's get honest. Let's get real. Talk about it and let's heal.
And speaking of which, get ready, because Brittany's going to be with me in a panel of women, and we're going to get real honest and really dig into the crap of MS and talk about some intimacy issues. So that's going to be coming on soon-ish. And I'll have a panel of guys that are going to talk about their way of thinking about all of the crap of MS and intimacy. So that'll be something I'm super excited about, the guy panel. And I'm super excited about my women of MS, my MSers that are going to my badass women that are going to talk about all the crap. So really looking forward to that.
Absolutely. I think it's really going to give a lot of reassurance to a lot of women.
Yes.
Too, you know.
Yeah. Like we all pee.
That's the thing. It's like, that's always the easy label, is like, there's something wrong with me. It's like, no,
right.
stop. We have to stop telling ourselves that there's nothing wrong with us. Do things differently. That's it.
Exactly. Differently. And and that's it, because you'll have to wait for the next one. You have to wait. So obviously, Brittany, I am one of your biggest fans. I think that, and your mother, tell your mother I love her. I mean, what a beautiful thing that I love how close you are to your mom. I love that.
It's fibro. So we have like such a common, like, fibromyalgia and MS. The symptoms are
okay. Oh yeah.
You know, we're like a family of chronic illness. My dad and he has MS. So it's like, haha, apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
My grandfather has had MS. My aunt passed away with MS, eventually with cancer. And then my son. So
they say it's not genetic, and I just go,
I know. I'm like, haha, I know. I'm like, okay. So yeah, whatever. And we all had it the same.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, sure. Okay. But another day. But we'll have fun doing this. So I look forward to, I'll bring you up with Damian and say, so how is it? What does he call you again?
BQ.
BQ. I'll say, how is BQ?
He always says, he's like, what up, BQ? I'm like, it feels so cool, because I like don't feel cool. People are like, oh, you look so cool and you are so cool. I'm like, no.
I love that you don't feel cool, because you are so
lame, man.
That is not true. Not true at all. Okay. You're going to be late for you're so cool. You have another interview right now.
I do.
Yeah. You got to go, girl. You got another interview right now.
Thank you for everything.
I love you.
I adore you. I love you. I love what you're doing. And I love
Thank you.
You're getting people, you know, out there. You're putting people out there, and you're talking about the things that need to be discussed and need to be heard.
Yeah.
So
thank you.
This is what we do. This is why we do what we do. So thank you.
That's right. We are going to disrupt this thing. We are going to disrupt this, and we're going to get this talked about, and we will do this.
Yep.
So love you so much.
We're doing it. We're making it work.
That is right. Have a great day. You enjoy your Starbucks, girlfriend. Get ready for your next interview. Love you.
I love you too.
And everybody have a great day. Get ready, because this will be on YouTube. So enjoy. Bye, guys. And that's a wrap. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Another great interview in the books. So please remember to subscribe, review, and always I want your feedback so that I know what interests you. What are some topics that you guys want to hear? Hope you enjoyed it. Can't wait to see you guys next time. Bye-bye.